They thought I couldn't hear them. Backstage, just minutes before I was supposed to walk out into the lights, I heard the laughter, sharp, careless, slicing through the hallway like broken glass. I heard the whispers too, the ones people think a woman like me is too fragile or too distant to catch. She won't hit the notes anymore. She's done. She should have quit years ago. Each word landed on me like a weight, pressing against my ribs, squeezing the air from my lungs. Some of them were crew members. Some were musicians. Some were strangers who'd been around long enough to think they knew the shape of my downfall. None of them knew the truth. None of them knew what was still alive inside me. I stood there in the wings of that arena, thousands of people buzzing on the other side of the curtain, waiting, hoping, wondering if I still had it. My palms were damp. My heartbeat felt like it was trying to escape my chest. But the fear wasn't what scared me most. What scared me was how close I'd come to believing them. But something happens when a performer has nothing left to lose. Something rises, raw, fierce, undeniable, from the deepest part of the soul. And as I took one slow breath, then another, I felt it ignite inside me. The laughter behind me grew louder. The announcer called my name, and I walked toward the light. They mocked me backstage. But in a few minutes, I would give them a performance they'd never forget. I could always tell when a crowd was restless, even from behind the curtain. There was a certain vibration to it, a low hum that traveled through the floor and into my shoes. That night in Chicago, it felt like the whole arena was pulsing with a question. Is she still Whitney Houston? Truth is, I was asking myself the same thing. I stood in the dimly lit hallway backstage, clutching a bottle of water I hadn't even opened. My throat felt dry, but I couldn't bring myself to take a sip. My mind kept replaying the voices I had heard only minutes before, the laughter, the doubts, the cruel certainty in their tone. She won't make it through the first song. Watch, she'll crack on the high note. Her glory days are gone. This is just sad now. They said it casually, like they were talking about the weather. They didn't bother to whisper. They didn't care if I heard.
Maybe they wanted me to.
I leaned my shoulder against the cold concrete wall and closed my eyes, trying to breathe through the tremor inside me. I'd been on stages my whole life, but lately, every performance felt like a test I wasn't sure I'd pass. Fame is funny like that. It builds you higher than you ever dreamed, then waits for the moment you wobble, just to shove you. My hands were shaking. I hid them in the sleeves of my jacket, so no one would see. Whitney, a soft voice said. I opened my eyes and found Mia, my stylist, and one of the few people backstage who still spoke to me with kindness. She gave me a smile that almost reached her eyes. They're ready for you in 5. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to pull myself together. 5 minutes before I walked into an arena filled with people who wanted magic and people who wanted a spectacle of failure. Do you need anything? Mia asked gently. I hesitated. What I needed wasn't something anyone could hand me. Certainty, courage, a voice untouched by fear. But I couldn't say that out loud. I'll be fine, I lied. She nodded and stepped back, giving me space. When she left, the hallway grew quiet again, except for the muffled roar of the crowd, swelling and fading like an ocean tide. I looked down at my reflection in a small backstage mirror. My makeup was flawless. My hair was perfect. My dress shimmered in the harsh fluorescent light. On the outside, I looked like the Whitney Houston they remembered. But inside, I felt like a cracked vase holding water, hoping no one noticed the slow leak. Then, as if on cue, I heard them again, the same group of musicians who had mocked me earlier. They were gathered near the corner, unaware I was still there. I bet she lip-syncs half the show. Her voice isn't what it used to be. She's only here because of nostalgia. The comment cut deeper than it should have. Nostalgia. As if I were a memory pretending to be alive. I turned away before they could see the way my jaw tightened. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing they got to me. As I walked toward the stage entrance, the world seemed to shrink into a tunnel. Dark on the sides, bright at the end. The stage manager held a headset to his ear, nodding, listening. When he spotted me, he straightened his posture. 2 minutes, Ms. Houston, he said. 2 minutes. I gripped the microphone in my hand. It felt heavier than usual, like it carried the weight of every doubt I'd heard that night. I stepped closer to the curtain, the edge of the spotlight glowing on the floor just inches away. I could hear the announcer hyping the crowd, calling my name in a deep, ringing voice that echoed across the arena. The audience exploded into cheers. My heart pounded. My breath caught in my throat. And then something unusual happened. A single thought rose inside me. Clear, steady, undeniable. They don't get to decide who I am. I do. I lifted my chin. The curtain began to rise. And at that exact moment, a voice behind me whispered something so startling, so unexpected, that it froze me in place. Whitney, you're not safe. To be continued. The voice came from directly behind me, low, urgent, almost trembling. For a moment I thought I had imagined it, a trick of nerves and adrenaline. But when I turned, I saw him. Jordan Hale, one of the sound engineers, pale as a ghost, eyes darting like he was afraid someone might be listening. Jordan, what are you talking about? I whispered, gripping the microphone a little tighter. He opened his mouth, closed it again, then scanned the hallway over my shoulder. The arena manager was yelling something into his headset. The crew was rushing past us with cables and equipment, but no one seemed to notice Jordan's panic. You shouldn't go out there yet, he said. Something's wrong with your in-ear system. Someone tampered with it. My stomach tightened. Sabotage wasn't a word people threw around lightly in this business. Mistakes happened, equipment failed, but tampering, that was intentional. That was personal. What do you mean tampered? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He swallowed hard. Your left in-ear feed is set to blow out your hearing the moment the band kicks in. It would take you out for the whole show, maybe longer. A chill slid down my spine. Someone wanted me silent. Someone backstage had gone beyond words, beyond mocking whispers, beyond gossip. This was deliberate. And the realization hit me like a punch. Whoever did this wasn't just doubting me. They were trying to end me. Why didn't you tell the stage manager? I asked. Jordan shook his head quickly. I don't know who to trust. And whoever set it up, they knew exactly what they were doing. I've never seen anything like it. The stage manager's voice boomed over the noise. Whitney, we're live in 30 places. Jordan grabbed my arm before I could step away. If you go out there like this, it could seriously hurt you. I felt my heartbeat hammering against my ribs. The curtain was rising, the crowd roaring louder, my name echoing across the arena. Every instinct inside me screamed to walk out, to sing, to reclaim myself. But now there was another instinct rising, fear. Real fear. Can you fix it? I asked. I don't know if there's time, he said. I'd have to bypass the pack completely. You'd have no monitor feed, nothing to guide your pitch or timing. Singing without monitors was like walking a tightrope blindfolded. Possible, but only if the gods were feeling generous. Whitney, the stage manager yelled again. We need you. The pressure crushed the air from my lungs. The crowd was chanting my name now, a rolling wave of voices, shaking the walls. My hands were sweating. My throat felt dry. The laughter I'd heard earlier was replaying in my mind, like a cruel soundtrack. She won't hit the notes. She's done. She should have quit years ago. I closed my eyes for a moment, and in that tiny pocket of darkness, I heard something else, something softer, something familiar. My mother's voice, strong and warm like it always was when she believed in me more than I believed in myself. Baby, you know what you were born to do. When I opened my eyes, something had shifted inside me. The fear was still there, but it wasn't steering me anymore. Jordan, I said quietly, take the pack off. He stared at me, stunned. Whitney, if you go out there with no monitors, then I'll sing the only way I ever knew how, I said. From my gut. For a second, he didn't move. Then he nodded, hands trembling as he unclipped the in-ear receiver from my waist and pulled the wires free. The moment he did, everything went quiet. No buzz, no pre-show cues, no musical preview. Just silence. Raw, open silence. Good luck, he whispered. I stepped toward the curtain. The stage manager motioned frantically. Whitney, go. The spotlight hit the floor in front of me. I could feel the warmth of it on my skin, even from the wings. My pulse raced. My breath caught. And just as I took my first step into the light, a shadow moved at the edge of the stage. A figure watching me. A figure who shouldn't have been there. A figure who knew exactly what had been done. To be continued. The figure stood just beyond the glow of the spotlight, still, silent, half hidden behind the curtain rigging. I couldn't make out their face, but the shape of their stance, the way their head tilted as if studying me, it sent a jolt of cold electricity straight down my spine. I froze. The stage manager didn't notice. He was too busy signaling cues, barking orders, adjusting his headset. The crowd was screaming loud enough to shake the rafters, chanting my name like a heartbeat. But all I could focus on was the shadow watching me like it already knew how the story would end. And then it slipped away. Not hurried, not startled.
Just gone.
As if melting into the backstage corridors. I swallowed hard and stepped into the light. The roar hit me like a wave. Thousands of people on their feet, flashing cameras, the arena vibrating under the weight of expectation. I forced a smile, small, measured, the kind I gave when I wasn't sure my voice would come out steady if I opened my mouth too wide. Without my monitors, it was like walking into a hurricane death. The band struck the opening chords, but without the in-ear feed, they sounded thin and distant, swallowed by the sheer size of the place. I inhaled, held the microphone tight, and began. The first note trembled, but it held. The second came stronger. By the third, something loosened inside me. My voice rose, not perfectly, not effortlessly, but real, raw, warm, alive. The kind of singing that came straight from somewhere deep, where fear and courage lived tangled together. For a moment, the world narrowed to a single point, me and the sound leaving my body. But halfway through the chorus, a hush rippled across the front rows. A few people pointed toward the wings. Whispers spread like sparks through dry brush. I kept singing, but my chest tightened. They saw something. Or someone. When the first song ended, the applause was wild, but beneath it, I heard a faint metallic buzz. Then a crackle. Then a screech, so sharp I nearly dropped the microphone. Feedback. Loud, violent, unexpected. The band stopped. The audience flinched. The speakers shook. The sound wasn't normal. It wasn't accidental. I stepped back instinctively, my hand over my ear, even though the damage wasn't coming through monitors. I glanced toward the mixing booth. Chaos. Hands flying across knobs, engineers shouting, a fuse blown somewhere. And, among the frantic movement, there he was again. That same figure. This time at the far back of the arena, just behind the technicians. Standing still. Watching me. My mouth went dry. I tried to signal for security, but the stage lights blinded me. The crowd's murmurs grew restless. I could feel panic pressing against my ribs, begging to get out. Whitney, are you okay? Mia called from the side of the stage. I saw her silhouette, tense and worried. I forced a nod, even though nothing felt okay. The stage manager rushed toward me. We can pause the show, he whispered. Just say the word. And for a brief, trembling moment, I considered it. I could walk off stage, hide in my dressing room, pretend the world didn't expect anything from me. But then I heard it. Faint at first, then stronger. Whitney! Whitney! Whitney!
The crowd.
They still believed. Even when I didn't. I lifted the mic again, my hand shaking, and stepped forward. Let's keep going, I said quietly. The stage manager looked shocked. Are you sure? No, I admitted. But I have to. The band carefully restarted. This time slower, softer, feeling their way like they were walking on broken glass. I began the second song. The shadowed figure was gone again. Or maybe just hiding. And as I sang, something strange caught my eye, a folded piece of white paper tucked behind the speaker near my feet. It hadn't been there before. Someone had placed it there recently. My heart lurched. When the verse ended, I knelt quickly and snatched it, hiding it in my palm before anyone could see.
I didn't open it yet.
I couldn't. Not in front of thousands of people. But I could feel the weight of it, light but heavy with meaning. A clue. A threat. A warning. I didn't know. Not yet. But I knew one thing for sure. Whoever was trying to silence me wasn't done. And neither was I. To be continued. I didn't open the note until I was safely behind the curtain. The moment the song ended, the stage went dark for the transition, and I slipped off stage with my heart pounding hard enough to bruise my ribs. Mia rushed to my side, fanning my face, checking my mic, asking if I was okay, but all I could think about was the small folded paper burning like a coal in my fist. I stepped into a shadowed corner, back against the wall, the muffled roar of the crowd shaking the air around me. My hands trembled as I unfolded the note. Just 5 words. Words that punched the air out of my lungs. Stop singing or you'll fall. For a second, the hallway tilted. My throat tightened. My heartbeat felt like it skipped an entire measure. Someone wasn't just trying to sabotage my equipment. They were threatening me. Whitney? Mia asked softly, stepping closer. You look pale. I crumpled the note in my fist. I'm fine. I lied, voice barely above a whisper. A lie she didn't believe for a second. Let me see what's in your hand, she pressed. Before I could answer, the stage manager sprinted toward us, headset crooked, eyes frantic. Whitney, we've got a problem. More problems. Of course. What now? I asked, tucking the note into my dress. It's the rigging, he said. The lighting grid above center stage. One of the main supports is loose. Really loose. We caught it just in time. If you were standing dead center during the next number. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. My stomach twisted into a hard knot. Someone had set that up too. The message in the note wasn't poetic. It was literal. You'll fall. What do we do? Mia asked, her face draining of color. The stage manager rubbed his forehead. We can delay the show, clear the area, fix the support. But it'll take time. The audience won't like it. The crowd's chant echoed from the arena. Whitney! 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 They had no idea how close things had come to disaster. I swallowed hard. Fear spread through me in a slow, cold wave. Someone was moving through this building with purpose. Someone who knew the equipment, the timing, the structure. Someone who had access to every corner of Backstage. Someone who wanted me hurt. Fix the rig, I said quietly. The stage manager blinked. It might take half an hour. Then take half an hour, I said. I'm not stepping under that thing until it's safe. He nodded and hurried away, barking orders at the crew. The moment he left, Mia grabbed my arm. Whitney, this is insane, she whispered. Who would do all this? And why? I leaned back against the wall, trying to steady my breath. Someone backstage. Someone with access. Someone who doesn't want me to be here. But why now? She asked. Why tonight? I didn't know. But I felt the answer somewhere deep inside me, sharp and bitter. Because I was trying to come back. Because I was proving people wrong. Because I was daring to be Whitney Houston again. And someone didn't want that. The hallway filled with frantic footsteps as stagehands rushed past us carrying tools and cables. Jordan appeared, sweat dripping down his temple, panic etched in every line of his face. Whitney, he said, breathless. They found something. My pulse spiked. What? He held up a small metal device, a remote frequency disruptor, the kind used to interfere with audio signals. This was hidden behind the amp rack. Whoever planted it knew exactly how to mask the interference. A sabotage device. A planted threat. A falling rig. A message. Piece by piece, the picture was getting darker. Security's searching the building, Jordan continued. But the person who put this there, they're good. They're moving fast. A chill crawled up my spine. Then, from the far end of the corridor, a loud crash echoed, sharp, violent, unmistakably close. Mia gasped. Jordan froze. I felt the hair on my arms stand up. Because the sound hadn't come from the stage. It had come from the dressing rooms. My dressing room. Jordan whispered. Someone's in there. My breath stopped in my chest. The threat wasn't backstage anymore. It was inches away from where I kept my things, my personal notes, my memories, my life. And whoever it was wasn't running this time. They were waiting. The hallway leading to my dressing room felt impossibly long, a tunnel of cold, trembling air. Every step I took made my heartbeat climb a little higher into my throat. Mia stayed close behind me, her hands shaking, while Jordan walked ahead slowly, cautiously, like he expected someone to leap from the shadows. The crash had echoed so loudly I could still hear it in my memory, sharp, metallic, intentional. Whoever was inside my dressing room wasn't hiding a mistake. They were sending a message. Jordan reached the door first. The metal frame was dented inward, as if someone had kicked it with full force. The knob hung loose, broken. The sign with my name was half torn, dangling by a single piece of tape. "Stay back," he whispered. But I stepped forward anyway. Fear had been riding me all night, gripping me, shaking me, trying to push me off course. But now that fear was turning into something else. Something hotter. Something stronger. Something like anger. This was my comeback night. My arena. My name on the marquee. And someone thought they could break me in silence. Jordan pushed the door open. The room was a mess. Worse than I imagined. My makeup scattered across the floor. My stage heels thrown across the couch. My costume rack knocked over. Velvet hangers twisted like bent twigs. And on my mirror, my backstage sanctuary where I always wrote a small prayer before every show, someone had scrawled a message in red lipstick. "The stage isn't yours anymore." Mia gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. I felt myself sway, gripping the back of a chair to stay upright. That mirror had been with me on every tour, every city, every major night of my life. It felt like someone had reached inside me and torn something sacred right out. Jordan walked the room slowly, scanning every corner. "They were here less than a minute ago," he said. "They might still be nearby." But I wasn't listening anymore. My eyes had fallen to the floor, to a single object lying beneath the couch. A gold tour badge. One of ours. A crew pass. Jordan picked it up carefully. His jaw tightened. "It belongs to someone backstage," he muttered. "Someone with full access." A fresh wave of cold washed through me. The suspect list wasn't just a stranger sneaking in. It was someone working the show. Someone who had been near me all night. Maybe someone who had spoken to me, even smiled at me. "This is personal," Jordan whispered. "Yeah, I knew that now." Suddenly, the stage manager appeared in the doorway, breathless. "Whitney, the rig's fixed. We can resume the show." Resume the show. As if nothing had happened. As if my dressing room wasn't just violated. As if someone hadn't tried to take me out twice. As if a threat wasn't still loose backstage. I looked at him, then at the shattered mirror, the message, the chaos around me. A storm churned inside my chest. Fear, anger, disbelief, determination. "I can't stop," I said quietly. Mia turned to me. "Whitney, this is serious. They're escalating." "I know. Then why go back out there?" I lifted my eyes to the broken mirror, to the red words mocking me, challenging me. Because if I ran, they'd win. If I hid, they'd silence me. If I left, they'd be right about me. Someone wanted my voice gone. But the only way I've ever fought back was by singing. Jordan exhaled, conflicted. "If you go out," he said softly, "you won't be alone. I'll be right by the booth. I'll watch every signal, every cue, and security's sweeping the whole backstage." "Good," I said. I took a shaky breath and turned toward the door. But as I stepped forward, the stage manager's radio crackled violently. Static, then a burst of feedback, then a frantic voice. Code red. Someone just accessed the catwalk. Repeat. Unauthorized person on the catwalk directly above the stage. Mia's face drained of color. Jordan froze. And I felt my entire body go cold. Directly above the stage. Right above where I was about to perform. I whispered, "They're not finished." Jordan swallowed hard. "Whitney, whoever's up there, But he didn't complete the sentence. Because we all knew, if the rig didn't bring me down, something else would. And the person on the catwalk wasn't waiting anymore. They were preparing. The moment the radio crackled with the warning, the entire backstage area shifted. The light in people's eyes changed, fear sharpening into urgency. Crew members broke into a run. Security swarmed the stairwells, and the stage manager's voice rose above the chaos, barking orders I couldn't even process. But I didn't move. I stood frozen in the hallway outside my dressing room, staring at nothing, listening to the pounding in my own chest. A person, an actual person, was standing above the stage where I was supposed to sing. Someone who had sabotaged equipment, destroyed my things, left threats in my mirror, and now waited overhead like a final stroke of darkness. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I felt Mia's hand slide into mine. Warm, trembling. "Whitney," she whispered, "you don't have to go out there." But something inside me snapped into clarity, not anger, not panic, but a fierce, steady stillness. My whole life, the stage had been the one place where I felt like myself. And tonight, someone had tried to turn that sanctuary into a trap. Someone had tried to scare me into silence. I wasn't going to let them. I released Mia's hand gently. "I have to." Jordan stepped in front of me, eyes wide. "Whitney, absolutely not. Let the police handle it. We'll reschedule." "No," I said, and my voice surprised even me. Steady, grounded, unshakable. "I'm singing tonight." He opened his mouth to argue. But then he saw my eyes, and something in him loosened. He knew I meant it. The stage manager rushed toward us. "Security is clearing the catwalk. They haven't apprehended the intruder yet. We don't know where they went." "I do," I murmured. Jordan frowned. "What do you mean?" I stepped toward the stage entrance, heart thundering, but mind steady. "They want me scared. They want me rattled. They want me to break. And they're watching to see if I do." "They're watching," Mia echoed. From somewhere in the arena, a camera shutter clicked. I felt it then, the gaze. Heavy, focused, tracking my every movement. They weren't on the catwalk anymore. They were in the building. They were in the crowd. My skin prickled as an uneasy truth settled on me. They didn't want to kill me. They wanted to humiliate me, destroy me publicly, break me from inside out. And the only power I had left was my voice. I stepped toward the curtain, the light leaking through its edges like the sun behind clouds. The arena roared on the other side, restless, confused, waiting. "Whitney," the stage manager called, running after me. "We don't even know if the rig is fully stable. Please." But I kept walking. And when I reached the spot where the spotlight was waiting for me, I stopped. Silence fell backstage. Only the thunderous pulse of the arena remained. I breathed in slowly. In through fear, out through faith. "Cue the band," I said. The stage manager pressed his headset. "Band, stand by." I stepped under the spotlight. The crowd erupted, not in polite applause, but in a surge of electricity that filled every inch of the arena. Phones lifted.
Signs waved.
People screamed my name like a prayer. Without monitors, without protection, without guarantees, I raised the microphone. And I began to sing. The first note wasn't perfect. It wasn't clean. It wasn't even fully steady. But it was mine. And before I finished the first verse, something unexpected happened. Something that felt like a miracle stitched out of human hearts. The arena fell completely silent. Not out of boredom. Not out of doubt. But out of reverence. They listened. Really listened. To every quiver. Every breath. Every ounce of truth in my voice. I could feel the tension in the air, the intruder somewhere watching, waiting for me to crumble. Instead, my voice rose higher. Stronger. Fuller. Like it had been hiding behind fear all night, waiting for the moment it could finally break free. By the final chorus, the entire arena was on its feet. Arms in the air, voices lifted with mine. I held the last note longer than I had in years, pushing past every crack, every tremble, every ounce of doubt that had been thrown at me. And when it ended, the arena didn't just cheer. It exploded. A sound so loud it shook the rafters. A sound that swallowed the fear, the threats, the darkness. A sound that told me, without question, that I wasn't done. That I was still Whitney. Security never did find the intruder that night. But as I walked off stage, breathless and trembling, Jordan ran up to me with a look of awe. "That note," he whispered. "You shattered the whole arena." And for the first time all night I let myself smile. Because the person who tried to silence me had only made me louder. Sometimes the world waits for you to fall, but the moment you rise, you remind them why you were never meant to fade. Whitney's story isn't just about music. It's about resilience, the kind that can't be broken, even in the darkest moments backstage. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to never miss the next story.